And people should not be in a rush. They need to manage and understand the business case. The key is to understand who is your end customer and what do they want. A lot of country specifications are pulled through in an economy when you do budget or economy hotels or mid-scale. And the key is to understand the price points. And that will only come after understanding what can your customer afford and what is he looking for. Once that happens, you could have managed the entire process of budget hotels very carefully, whereby overruns of cost need to be kept. And the difference is when you let the cost and the project cost run away, then it becomes your budget hotel goes out of budget. And you need to make sure that the entire managing of your business case and bringing the project to life is very tightly controlled.
Something which we talk about a lot and strategize in the company. We still believe that at the end of the day, as the old adage goes, it's always location, location, location. And I think if you ask if you were an investor and had this amount of money to spend, where would you buy and acquire and spend? I suppose the safest bet is always still to go with the primers, the most prime, most central, the most heavily trafficked areas, as opposed to that's almost at least you're going to get the foot count, you're going to get the foot traffic, you're going to get the passenger count, the guest count. Of course, on the other hand, entering into such a market is not necessarily the cheapest in terms of pricing. Real estate prices, as you know, can be sky high. Now, you cannot always say, looking on the flip side of things, get into a market where it's not as developed, land prices are still cheap, relatively cheap to buy, to build, to run. But at the end of the day, the rate of appreciation in terms of escalation in numbers you might have to wait for a much longer period of time to appreciate the value you put in. You put $50 million in first-tier city as opposed to one in a fourth-tier city. You realize that the rate of firstly your cost of going into the city is different, but your rate of return, the time it takes, whether it's compressed or otherwise, can be very different as well. The dynamics of the market situation, any rising tide, like they say, raises all boats. But I think if you've got a boat that's got a stronger engine, a stronger hull, and that not just relies on the wind, but it's more powered with a jet or something, it will still go faster and further than one that relies on the wind. You can wait for the storms to blow and the winds to come, but I think you have to couple technology and modernity in that.
I think the trick about these economy hotels or three-star hotels, if I can use that expression, select service, is that both the operators of the hotels and the developers have to be very prescriptive about those hotels, because they're really pitched at a particular price point. And in order, therefore, for you to ensure you get a suitable return on that investment, you have to be very focused and very clear about what it is you're building, and don't let your ego or anybody else take away from that. It's about building rooms and ensuring you get the very clear cost of construction so that you know what your return is going to be, because it's very clear what the market will bear for a property of that size and number of rooms and size of rooms and the like. So you have to be very focused on building what is required for that marketplace and not add on what you think may be required.